Hi guys, I'm here to do a book review on Hunger by Morse Kessler. This is a new book and new release, and Jackie, this is her first book in the YA genre. This book is about eating disorders, and Jackie actually has personal experience with it. She was bulimic for a good part of a year of her life. So, she has intimate knowledge with it. And when she was doing her research on famine, she came across a lot of interesting things about what other countries deal with hunger when facing hunger, and why they've become hungry, like why they end up starving, like what has happened to their country that has caused this. And so when you read the book, because it talks about some of that, I thought actually that she made some of this up, and she says no, that she didn't. So it was really interesting to know that. This book is centered around Elizabeth Lewis. Everybody calls her Lisa for short, who is an anorexic. At the beginning of the story, it opens up with her attempting to commit suicide by taking some of her mother's Lexapro. And that's not a spoiler. It tells you that in the first chapter. And so she gets like 3 pills down or something like that, and she hears a knock at the door. And I don't know what stops her. She was probably, I think she was already nervous about the whole thing anyways. And so she goes and answers the door, and there's a delivery man there, and he hands her a box. And she goes back in and opens the box, and the box is actually a set of scales, like the justice scales. And of course she's confused about it, and she actually ends up having a dream that night about Death, the Grim Reaper, and a black horse, a steed. And she finds out from Death that she has been picked to be Famine, the horseman of Famine. And of course this is on news story. She doesn't know anything like what this means, and she all the next day when she wakes up, she thinks it was all a dream and that. And so it kind of flips back and forth between her in the present day. Well, everything's in the present day, so her like now her real life, and then her being Famine. So it was interesting in that way. And when she's Famine, she's invisible to everybody. Her and her horse are, nobody sees her. And she's dealing with this problem of anorexia. She does not believe she's anorexic. She thinks that she just watches what she eats. She definitely counts her calories. But she has this voice inside her that she calls the thin voice, that is always putting her down, berating her, telling her she's fat, and so forth. She weighs herself all the time. She exercises all the time. And every time she looks at herself, though, she still sees herself as fat. Well, people around her are starting to notice. Her friend, or her ex-best friend, Suzanne, told her that she thought she was anorexic, and that was just it for Lisa, and Lisa stopped being friends with her. She has a boyfriend, James, who is starting to be concerned with her. He sees stuff going on. She's not feeling good. She's not looking good. He knows that she doesn't eat. And so he, asks her if something's going on. I'm here if you want to talk, and, all the right stuff to say. And he's very supportive of her, which is great. Then there's her dad. Her dad always calls her his princess. And she's, his everything. And then, so he doesn't really see anything until a little bit later in the book. Then he does start to see something going on. Then there's her mom, and she does not like her mom. You just know it. I mean, just the way she talks about her and that. You find out towards the end why she's having problems with her mother. You also find out towards the end what sparked her eating disorder. And so she's in denial. She has a friend, Tammy, too, that has an eating disorder, and she's bulimic. So the reason she's friends with Tammy is because she believes Tammy understands her. Tammy knows what it feels like to be fat, and knows what it feels like to have to watch what you eat and to watch your weight. But she still doesn't see that she has a problem. So she, like I said, has these dreams about death, even though they're not actual dreams. It's things that are really happening. And she finally realizes that. And she's kind of confused at first because she doesn't know what her job is and what she's supposed to do. And she runs into Pestilence, who's also a horseman, and War, who's also a horseman. And she bumps heads with War right away. War just wants to kill her. And Pestilence basically tells her that your job is to make people hungry. And then pestilence comes in and makes them sick. She works from the outside, and he works from the inside. She works from the outside by basically taking away their food, and he works on the inside by making them sick. Well, she does this the one time, and it just doesn't sit right with her. You know, she just doesn't like it. And by the end of the book, she's realized a lot of things. It's so hard to review this book because I don't want to give anything away. But she's definitely grown throughout this book. I do like that you've definitely seen how she's grown. She realizes a lot of things. Being famine to her is what helped her, and is what opened her eyes. And she actually took and did a different spin on famine, which I didn't see coming, and I liked that. She basically just realized a lot of stuff from this. So it was very interesting. It was a very good book. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. And I know it's a short review, and I'm sorry, but I mean, the book basically, like I said, revolved around her. So there's really not. Well, I guess I could talk about Death. Death, it's kind of confused on his character. The way they describe him, or the way that Jackie depicts him in her book, is definitely not what you would think at all. And his appearance and his personality don't fit for Death. It takes a different spin on Death too there, which it was kind of refreshing to me. I kind of like that. Yeah, so the next book in this story is Rage, or the next book in the series is Rage, and that's going to tell a tale about war. So I can't wait to read that one. It's just so interesting. Yeah, it definitely took a very serious issue, and it helped you to understand it a little bit better. And I really liked where it went. I have to admit, at the very end of the book, I thought something was going to happen, and I was so disappointed. I was like, you cannot tell me that we did this whole journey for this. Like, it didn't seem right. But then it twisted, and it ended up turning out like I wanted it to turn out. So that was kind of nice. But yeah, I'm sorry this review wasn't any better. Like I said, it was just really hard to sum this book up, since it was so tiny, into a longer review. But definitely worth the read. I would definitely get this. Hunger by Jackie Morse Kessler. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later.